Coming in the honorable mention category are bikes from FaceOff, QuietKat, and Cyrusher. Now, these bikes are on the higher end of pricing. The FaceOff Switchback Berg 5 is $6,800. The QuietKat Apex HD is $7,000, and the Cyrusher Hurricane is $6,000. Now, all three of these bikes have 1,000-watt mid-drive motor. They have at least a 20 amp hour battery, and they seem to be great options that you may want to check out. I'm not in love with the FaceOff website. It's a little bit cluttered, but it might be a great company to take a look at. Of course, QuietKat has been around for a while, and Cyrusher is a non-hunting brand. So let's talk about the parameters of my evaluation. I looked at over 50 different e-bike companies, and I looked at several hundred models of e-bikes. In my where I landed was I wanted bikes that had at least 1,000-watt mid-drive motor, not a hub drive. A lot of e-bikes that you see on the market are hub drives, the ones that you see on Amazon or Costco, and that's where the motor is in the rear or front wheel, or even both in some cases, and they will deem that as all-wheel drive. But a mid-drive is in the gears of where the pedals are connected to the bike, at the really central part of the bike, and that allows you to take on hills better. And 1,000-watt motor translates into about 160 Newton meters of torque. So for just regular hills, that sort of thing, 80 to 90 meters of Newton meters of torque will get you there. But again, if you're hunting and you're packing in or packing out, you want something more than that. And 160 Newton meters to me, I think would be appropriate. I'm trying to target bikes that have at least 20 amp hours. I'm looking at the weight of the bike. I really do want something that's closer to 70 pounds. Some of these are on the higher end, and I'm not interested in having extra weight on the bike. I also look at the number of speeds. Some mid-drive bikes will be single speeds. And if you think about a 10-speed bike that you had growing up, or even one you have in your garage, when you downshift, when you're going uphill, it helps you use your muscles more efficiently. And when you upshift to a larger gear, it helps you use your muscles as you pedal more efficiently. And the same can be said here. I don't want a single speed mid-drive bike. I want something that has 8, 9, 11 speeds, which means that the chain is switching gears as you go up or downhill. You can change those, and you're using your battery and motor more efficiently. The other piece of that is you want a heavy-duty chain, like a KMC chain is something that's heavy-duty. If that chain breaks on a mid-drive bike, you're in a bit of a pickle, because that bike, it really isn't going to operate. And it's not easy to replace. Now, I mentioned the class adjustment system. It's important that you understand the rules and regs as it relates to the type of trail that you can use a class 3 on versus a class 1. And what I have for you are 2 spreadsheets. One is a spreadsheet of all of my evaluation with all of the different companies, and even the companies that are absolute no's that you don't have to even waste your time with. There's a lot of no companies out there where they only make hub drive bikes. And so it's really not worth your effort to investigate. And again, when you see that bike at Costco or wherever, you want to be, it may have a picture of a hunter. It may have someone on a mountain, but it doesn't mean it's appropriate for your purposes. They're just trying to sell you a bike to get, it's marketing. So go to the Hunt Detail Instagram page. You can download this cheat sheet. I also will have another cheat sheet that shows state by state what types of rules and regs you have for the different classes of bikes. Now, I would encourage you to that's not going to be updated all the time, but it'll be there. You can download that cheat sheet along with this one and even verify my information. Check it against what you find. And I will say the prices of these bikes change very, very frequently. So what I'm sharing with you now is the MSRP, but a lot of bikes will go on sale, off sale, and obviously that would change the valuation of those bikes if they drop $1,000 off the price. So coming in at really the top brands that I've found, I'm going to start with BackCou. If you've heard of BackCou, they've been making hunting e-bikes for a while now, and they're a well-established brand. And you have the Storm, the Scout, and the Mule SD, which is new for 2025. Now, all of these have the class adjustment system to 1, 2, or 3 or unlimited. The frames weigh, the bikes themselves without the battery weigh about 70 pounds, give or take. They all come with a Bafang 1,000-watt motor. They have multiple gears, as I mentioned. They have at least a 20 amp hour battery. Some have 30 even, which is amazing. They all come with a lifetime frame warranty and a 2-year limited warranty, and they all have a KMC heavy duty chain. What I really like though is a bike that's the Mule Standard. Now, this bike is an older model that may be phasing it out, so you may want to check it out and see if it's available. But it comes in at $5,200. It's 67 pounds. It has 9 gears, and it has a 25 amp hour battery. And at $5,200, I feel like that's a really strong value, and with all that you get with the Mule Standard. So now let's look at another group of companies, or another company that's really another hunting bike company, which is the Rambo e-bikes. Now you have the Dominator Ultra Drive, the Dominator HD, and the Venom 2. These all weigh about 69 pounds. They do have an adjustable class setting, so 1, 2, 3, or unlimited. They come with a Bafang 1,000-watt motor, lifetime frame, 1-year limited warranty, multiple gear settings. But the one that jumps out to me out of the Rambo e-bikes is the Rebel 2.0. It has a 20 amp hour battery, but you can add an additional 14 amp hour battery for $1,000. So this bike comes in at $4,649. You add another $1,000, it's $5,649, and you have a 34 amp hour battery. And now this is minus the batteries. That bike weighs 64 pounds. Now, when you add those bikes or add those batteries to that bike, batteries weigh about 10 pounds. So we could add potentially another 20 pounds. But I think at $5,649, you have a really strong option here from an e-bike perspective, something that is not in the $7,000 range, and it's not even $6,000. It comes in just under at around $5,700. Now, two brands that really jump out to me, I looked at a lot of non-hunting brands, and two brands that jump out were Velowave, and they have the Forest XM and the Brawny XM. The Forest XM comes in at $3,200. The Brawny's $3,500. They both have a Bafang 1,000-watt motor, and again, that 1,000-watt mid-drive motor translates into 160 newton meters of torque. They both have 10 speeds. They have a 20 amp hour battery, 2-year warranty. The only drawback here, and again at $3,500, the only drawback here is that these bikes are only class 3. You cannot adjust them down to a 2 or a 1 or an unlimited. And so you can disengage the throttle. It's like having a Porsche potentially, but only just not being able to downshift, I suppose. So if you're in a situation where it doesn't matter about being able to change classes, then I would probably go with this brand or this series of bikes from Velowave, because if you have a place where it doesn't matter, then I would go. I think this is money well spent at $3,200. The other brand that that came to the surface was BikTrix. Now they have the Juggernaut Ultra Duo 4 SO and the BikTrix Juggernaut Ultra Founders Edition. Now the Ultra comes in at $3,300. The Founders Edition comes in at $4,000. I'll start with the Founders Edition. I mean, it comes with an adjustable class system, 1, 2, or 3, and I think maybe unlimited, 1,000 watt Bafang motor. The Founders Edition comes with a 20 amp hour battery. They both come in around 70 pounds. The Ultra Duo 4SO comes with a 17 amp hour battery, but what you can do is add an additional 17-hour amp battery to that bike for $700. So then you're at 34 amps per hour, and you're at a bike that's $4,000 even. So for $4,000, the BikTrix Ultra Duo 4SO, you have a 34 amp hour battery, which is really on the highest end of the class. You have the motor, the mid drive, you have the adjustable class system. And so for me, I feel like the BikTrix Juggernaut Ultra Duo S4SO would be my number one, based on pricing at $4,000 and based on capabilities. Now, with all of these brands, I will say I've not tested them. So this is an evaluation based on specs. And I would encourage you to go to other uh, channels and find people that have actually tested and tried some of these bikes, including the Juggernaut series from BikTrix. Go to Hunt Detail on Instagram, download the spreadsheets, and continue your evaluation of this class. Best of luck this season. Thank you so much.